So we have to look at the issues on AM Talk this morning, and the main discussion point will be around, well, the subject of the flood waters, but more so, we'll be looking at the NDC holding a rally. We know that they've been having a number of events to climax 20-year existence of the NDC. Is it 25 years?
25.
25 years.
They're not
25 years. Okay. So the gentleman whose voice you just heard is Roxin Dafiamapo. He's a legal practitioner, but also a member of Parliament for South Dying. Thanks for joining me, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Great. And I also have Ebenezer Gilbert Ni Nate, and he's a Blukuma Central Member of Parliament. And it's the first time on the show for him. Thanks for joining me, sir.
Thank you.
Ni Nate.
Yeah.
Na is an Adani.
Yes.
Okay. You're partly from Adan too?
Yes.
Or you're fully from
I'm fully
Gandangwe.
from Prameningo.
Okay, great. That's good. Okay, so now we have to do the discussions, and I have to start with you because logically, the party has been putting together a number of events, climaxing with, but 25 years is a big deal for any party, won't you say?
Indeed, in the life of even a human being, you are deemed to have matured, perhaps left university, and your first level of employment, perhaps taking a wife or a husband, and so the future is straight out before you to conquer. And so as a political party, we have done very well. We have done extremely well, I must say, in this fourth Republican dispensation. And so there's so much to celebrate in respect of the NDC concerning our contribution towards the growth, consolidation of the constitutionalism that we practice in Ghana today.
But it's been a good rivalry for you as a party to the MPP. I mean, logically, you can make some conclusions that the two strongest party in Ghana are the MPP and NDC. It's either the MPP or the NDC, of course. What would you say to them as they're climaxing that anniversary?
Thank you, Roland. Let me take this opportunity to say good morning to my viewers, and especially to my constituents, Ablekuma Center constituency, and also wish my brothers and sisters, Muslims. In fact, I was not in the country. I just arrived on Saturday. So since they started their Ramadan, I have not been able to have in touch with them. And I just want to assure them I'm back. I will do justice to what I'm supposed to do in the constituency. Yes, as my brother said, 25 years in the life of a person gives you some sort of hope and belief that, yes, indeed, you can move on in life. NDC was formed 25 years ago. They came from the PNDC, where many of us, reading from what we have gotten from people, we have our own perception against the PNDC era, where some of us have been victims. As I said, we have been victims. It is either directly or indirectly. But through that, they were able to come out to form the NDC. I've heard some leading members of the NDC claiming that, yes, NDC presently have some people from the PNDC, the CPP, the PNC, and other political parties forming the NDC. Since the inception of the NDC, they have been in power for 16 good years. And
I mean, cumulatively?
Yes. President Rawlings, President Mos, John Mahama, 16 years, out of the 25 years. For me, I believe that is a very good achievement, that out of 25 years, you have ruled the country for 16 good years. They have also produced a lot of people, very respectable people in this country. Some have even held high positions in Africa, in the world, and the party in general, and then in other institutions that we respect them so much. The likes of Dr. Ibn Chambers. There's somebody in NS, despite having MPP, is somebody I really respect a lot. We have the likes of our senior member of Parliament, Bagbin, who is a veteran in Parliament, the long-serving member of Parliament presently, a lot of them. When it comes to the Buga Buga to the NDC too are there. So for me, I believe they have done well. I wish them a belated happy birthday. I hope that they reflect on things that have happened so far in their party, and see how best they can able to fight us if they can in 2020.
Okay, we'll see how that goes. But we know that there's been a number of commentary on different fora, especially in the lead up to this. Foremostly, we've had a number of comments also from the founder of the party, Jerry John Rawlings, about the current crop of leadership, or perhaps the crop of membership of the NDC, veering away from what the initial tenets or ideals of the party were from the initial stages. What would you say to that?
My reaction is that it is his right to speak on matters that concerns the party, and so I find nothing wrong with his call. Why? Every organization should have an institutional ability to renew itself. It's not saying those in leadership, they should be sacked from the party. They should be driven away from the party. No, no, no. It says that they should give way. After all, most of them have left the party for about 8 years. Some led under professionals. It was time for re-election. They got re-elected. So there are some constituency chairmen who have been there for 8 years, some stretching far back as 12 years. Some regional executives have been around for about 12 years or about 8 years. His only call is that the loss was too humiliating and catastrophic. So he felt that they should give way for new persons within the party, persons who perhaps have not held positions before, or who perhaps were past executives and did well. But because of institutional renewal, they also give way for you to also come in. But if you are not able to reorganize the party and consolidate its hold to bring in the political fortunes, then you must also give way for other people to come in. You understand me? So his call is a perfect call. It is up to the rank and file of the party to either heed to the call of the founder, or in total, or heed to the call halfway. That is, they agree that some leaders should go and some should be replaced. So in all this, it is the performance of these party leaders, constituency, branch, constituency, region, national, that will determine their re-election. It's not calling for a total coup, a total revolution within the party, but it says that there should be renewal at the leadership level as much as possible, so that they can bring to bear a new force to reinvigorate the party from the top up to the bottom up. So I agree with the founder in making this call. It is a call in the right direction. So I don't think any party, any person who is in leadership position in the party should feel threatened. Your work over the period will save you when you go back to campaign for votes. And so it's as simple as that. I would rather be shocked if nobody is calling for renewal of leadership. No. It has to be renewed. And so whether your mandate as a leader will be renewed or not, it depends on the people who will vote. But the issue now is as to how will the renewal, the source of mandate for renewal, what is the model? Are we maintaining the expansion of the voters register, or we are going back to the delegate system? That is the debate within us, with the on the ground now. But otherwise,
what's your option for that?
I would believe that we should maintain the expanded system, because you see,
but sanitize it.
Yes, you see,
because you need to do a proper audit of who is on your register.
Why? Even the National Electoral Register is sanitized periodically. So you can't say that what happened in the NDC shouldn't be sanitized. No. They gave us hell that the Electoral Register be sanitized. And I love the MPP for that. They've been very consistent in calling for the reform of the Electoral process. So if NDC within ourselves, we are calling for reform of the electoral process, it is good. But to say that I asked, for instance, the people, all the NDC members in my community, Tongo Chanakpe, to vote the last time, and about 400 and something persons came out to vote as the NDC members. Then, 2-3 years down the line, you are saying that you are going to allow only 9 delegates from the community. There will be an apple to the dynamics on the ground. It's not as simplistic as we viewed from Accra. You know, so my take on the matter is that yes, we should maintain what we have already introduced. I don't think we should be going back on the electoral reforms, but we should reform. We should sanitize the electoral register, and then we make progress.
Before Eben comes in, let's watch this insert from the rally ground. We're told that it took place in the constituency I grew up in, Ashaiman.
We need to re-examine ourselves. We need some serious education, not just propaganda stuff. If we need, the younger generation, 20 years and below, know very little about where we've come from. How many of us know enough to be able to impart the history of who we are, where we're coming from? One day, I'd like for us to meet here, and I will tell you some very interesting story. The biggest 419, political 419, that was pulled on us, right in front of us. And that 419 is still there. And if we couldn't prevent it, if we seem unable to do anything about it, then I ask myself, where is this? What's the power of our conviction? Even when we were office, the way they were harassing us, the ease with which they got away with 204. Is it called 204? Yeah, 204. They couldn't mess around with 208 because the country would have blown up. Ladies and gentlemen, I think I will stop here and leave you to go home and think about what I'm saying. That you're capable of almost, you could nearly be a one-party state. That's not because we want it that way. Nobody wants it that way. But because of the nature of the revolt, the roots of NDC, PNDC, AFRC.
Bibia efa ponko ho. Na sa ponko na meka no. Na enkyere se eye party ne mfom so nti ene elusu yi. Enye sa na mpe akere. Na ne America ne say ye hwe so na ye organize party ni yi a nipa obedi ye kan say oyo so onyo say meba eyezu Miniano Muntieme. Miniano Muntiemo. Say, your reorganization ye na party ni jinada nanswa. And who ya ni pobedi a kind, ya kwa ye bedin kunim. Sana American, ye TNC form. Me and fa ye TNC form. And kase yanya de. Nipa beti niya ye. Na me call South Africa ibisa me asem bi say ade na odi nkogo and I make bibi me say a incumbency disadvantage if we say ye na ehwe economy no so ye nim na economy ni betimi aye na ne ntimi nye enti ye call rally a me ka che Ghana for enokre me say na betimi aye and so say obi a oni aban mu a otenchen ehwe ono otimi ka bibia opebia yeba say meka bibi me say so to me ya na ye if
Well, some ensuing debates there here in the studio. But Eben, I would want to pose this question to you. If you listen to the leadership of the party, especially the former president, and now, okay, and before him, the founder and former president, Rawlings, they all seem to be representing two halves of the party. I mean, in a society, in a evolution, in a organization. Do you think perhaps maybe there seems to be this generational gap that they don't seem to synchronize between the two halves, so to speak?
The fact of the matter is that in every political party, I keep on telling people, look, I will not be hypocrites telling people that in one way or the other there are not functions in a political party. In every political party there are functions. I can tell you now in NDC, maybe my brother Roxanne would not agree, but that's the fact. There are people who are supporting former President John Mahama and former President Rawlings. Right. There are people today, if they say that Rawlings said, let's go, they will follow Rawlings. There are other people who will follow John Mahama. It is there. You even come to MPP, you go to CPP, you go to PS, even PPP. There are people who have their loyalty to Pakwesi Indu. There might be other people too who are planning to bring somebody to contest Pakwesi Indu. But in NDC, if we talk about functions, they say no, it is not there. And they always accuse the MPP or we have functions. Even in Parliament, we have friends, he knows. We have friends among ourselves within the NDC. There are people, as for Rawlings, today people were accusing Rawlings that because Rawlings did not involve himself in the campaign, that is how come NDC lost the election. So that means Rawlings also have his own people. He has people that when he thought they would listen to. When you look at the program that they did during their anniversary, there's a series of programs. Look, I remembered when they brought the late president, Moss. They had a program at Kuku Hill. And they composed the song, Unaokofa Atamo Saba. And it was the older people, the Shelley Arites, the Sisla Johnson, my old mother, and I mean prominent NDC people. Today, these same people were supporting John Mahama. We have the likes of your former chairman, how do you call it, Kobeji, who are also loyal to, how do you call it, Rawlings. Today, I can tell you, despite Kofi Adams campaigned for John Mahama, he's still loyal to former President Rawlings. Because, look, there are certain people, you look at them. It is this person who has made me what I am today. So my loyalty, look, I know somebody in Parliament. I don't want to mention the person's name. He always told me, look, for me, my respect for Rawlings is higher than John Mahama. He has been a minister before in President Mills' administration. He has been a minister in former President John Mahama's administration, but he's loyal to President Rawlings. Because he believed that he was nobody. It was this man who brought me, and he has made me what I am today. If it has not been Rawlings, I might not be a minister or a deputy minister or a regional executive member. One other thing that is in a political party, when a party loses an election, we call for
the heads.
From the grassroots to the national level, we have to change everybody. You remember when we lost in 2012? My own senior colleague, Ken, said, oh, it happens. Even at the constituency level, even those of us who even contest in 2012 and 2008, at the moment you lose the election, they blame you, the candidate.
People are calling for your head.
Yes, that you have to. But I agree with Roxanne that, look, it is not all the time that we need to change executives. It is not all the time. Sometimes, when I was doing our primaries, I was telling them, look, I have learned some mistakes that I did in 2012. And going forward, I can assure them that when they give me the mandate as a candidate, 2016 election, the mistakes that I did in 2012, I will not do those mistakes. And indeed, when they gave me the mandate, I called certain people and I told them, look, from my side, I did A, B, C, and D mistakes. In fact, my current chairman, who I even contested the primaries with, who became my constituency chairman, insisted that, look, I want to know the problems. What caused your downfall in the election? Tell me. Now I'm a chairman.
That's the previous election.
The previous election. So that we will not make the same mistake.
So you did some kind of reflection?
Yes. In fact, as I'm speaking with you now, the NDC have a committee going around looking into how come they lost the election. We have also formed a committee going around to see how come we won the election and won massively, and see how best we can beat them and beat them well in 2020. So it is good that you do all these post-mortem and know where the problems are. But when you call for the heads of the from the polling station, from the constituency, and then from the national and the regional level, sometimes it becomes a little problem.
Now, is it because this generational gap exists? If you look at the ideals for which the formative years during the transition from PNDC into NDC were, I think the geopolitical system at the times were different. And currently, the times too have changed. There seem to be the now infusion of younger blood, so to speak, younger hounds, like you and the others into the party. Does that perhaps take away a far departure what were the initial aspirations for forming the NDC?
Not at all. It's always not at all. It's always been our strategy as a party. In '92, when the party was formed, and with it was a conglomeration of the Eagle, and some other clubs in the NDC. That's what we call ourselves, the Congress. Now, young persons like the Right Honorable Duaja, who was then a state attorney based in Sunyani. Honorable Bagbin was then a young practicing lawyer. He's been around, but he was very young. They beckoned a lot of young people to join, even though Tutubi Kwachi was young. He was, when he joined the PNDC from university, very, very young. Still by the 90s, he was still young. My senior Chachu Chikata, even though they had been around for a long time, they were still looking young. But they brought young people to join the cadres, we call them the cadres, to infuse young blood, as well as experienced hands to handle the affairs of the NDC in NDC 1 and NDC 2. You realize that by the turn of the millennium, when we lost the elections and the NPP came, there was, like we are calling now, there was a call for reorganization of the party. And persons like Haruna Idris, who was then SRC, I think SRC president at the time, and left school. SRC or no, so I've forgotten. And left school. He was elected as the youth organizer of the party nationally. You know, so from about 2001, he championed the reorganization of the party at the grassroots level. So you see Haruna Idris like that, he's been around for about 18 to 20 years in party politics. So it was no wonder that by 2004, he won the elections and entered parliament in the 2005 almost, and he's been around since. So we have always used young people. Mama Yariga, those that they were all young. You know, so it is not by accident or history that by the last elections, there has been the introduction of a lot of us at the forefront. If you look at the level 100, I call it level 100 in Parliament. Those of us who are first timers, there are about 40 something of us out of the 106 that are below 40 or 40 and below. And And so we are many. There's even somebody who's about 27, Joycelyn. So young, but she's there.
There's even one who's is it 27.
Yeah, 27. Joycelyn is about 27. Yes, not that. You know. And so, and they also have younger people. So this current parliament, it's very young. And both parties see the need.
You're saying it's a normal transition?
It's a normal transition.
So how do we do the synchronization?
So I disagree with you that there's a generational gap.
There's not?
No, there's not. But the problem is, like you are saying, there appears to be a camp. No, for me, there's no camp. My loyalty is to the party.
But that's you.
Yes. And it's a call. No, I tell you, it's a call
but that's you.
You must be loyal to the party. So it is the party's philosophies, principles that we must aspire for. So that tomorrow, when you are no longer the preference of the people, then nobody will come in and insist that even though you are no longer the preference of the people, you must be imposed on the people. This is what creates the problem sometimes. When the people decide that no, we have had enough of you, you have to leave the scene. So that no blocks, the sectorial blocks, the factions, will not impose candidates on the people or on the party at the primaries and by extension the people. If we can accept to work with some of these principles, then as a political party, that was why the fund, you see, it is not for anything that is in our constitution as our founder. It says that if NDC, if we consider our strengths very well and take care of our weaknesses, we will always win elections in this country. We are
because from the last election, you seem to have great weaknesses.
Yes, because we didn't, like he said, we didn't pay attention to our strengths and we didn't diagnose our weaknesses and taking care of them or cure them. So if we can do that as a political machinery, we will always give NPP a run for their money and beat them every time. But once we have problems, and I give them 100% on that. They're always consistent in respect of how to explore weaknesses with the NDC. They are very clever with that. We don't know how to do that. We don't know.
Because within the period, we've had a number of people talking. They say your relationship with the media is poor, which I have been reporting. I've been a reporter since the year 2001.
Yes,
or 2002. Yes. I've been around for a long time. TV3 and from GBC to TV3, yes. And your relationship with the media is one of the most porous I can ever find as an institution.
And it baffles me that
you're so antagonistic towards the media.
No, we are not antagonistic, but it baffles me that as a political machinery, up to now, we don't even have a TV station as a political
Why
party.
should you have?
You have a lot of radio stations.
No. We don't.
And NPP doesn't have TV stations.
We don't have a TV station. We don't have a
Hold
TV
on.
station.
I am only making a point.
You're talking about the ideology and the new style.
Yes, that now we should have a TV station, a media house. That is
NDC.
That is
TV
NDC,
station.
NDC TV station.
And how many people watch it?
Who told you? No. You see,
when they go to the polls, they get over 4 million people.
Hold on.
So 4 million people can watch the station.
Let me tell you something. During these Silver Jubilee celebrations, there were a lot of lectures, a lot of speeches, giving the historical account of, for instance, how even the first parliament, how they operated. The Honorable Bagbin told us when they went there, they were taking lunch from, they will leave Parliament House, go and take lunch from the University of Ghana Common Hall, and they were giving 20 cedis a week. They didn't have a vehicle. They didn't have a Parliament House.
Go, we're starting.
Yes. So they sacrificed a lot, and that was when MPP boycotted. So they sacrificed a lot. When they asked President Rawlings for vehicles, he says, for what? He thought that as members of Parliament, they didn't need vehicles. Then later they asked for accommodation. He said, no, they should go and build their houses in their constituencies. So there were a lot of interesting things that came up. But they sacrificed over the period and consolidated the democratic governance. So some of these things can be captured into video, into audio.
All right.
And broadcast. So I am saying as an NDC, we are very weak in terms of media relations. Media has become everything now.
Media is a powerful tool.
Media has become everything.
Around the world.
It's not just powerful. It's become everything. People die every day. People are lynched every day. But it took the power of WhatsApp for the death of this.
So media is critical.
Media has become, it's not simply critical, it's become everything.
Point made.
You know.
Point made. But on the fringes of this, or the sidelines of this, the ex-president has been criticizing the MPP that you have now come into power, led by President Nana Danko Akufo-Addo, and you're coming to face and in terms with the reality. And it's being phrased like this: poor MPP suffering from, quote, tragedy of unlived experience. You haven't lived the experience, well, not that you haven't been in power before, of the current states in which he presided over Ghana, and now you're reliving that experience, seeing that it's not all rosy. He says no wonder you can't fulfill the promises that you say you fulfill the initial stages, as you promised on the campaign platforms, etc.
Roland, before I come to former President John Mahama, Roxanne was trying to defend the NDC relationship with the media. You know, currently...
I didn't defend it, I bemoan it.
Right.
Yes,
currently, when you look at radio stations that we have, apart from the known one, when you tune into some radio station, majority of these radio stations belongs to the NDC functionaries. Oh, yes.
You mean the functionary? You mean ownership?
Ownership. In my constituency, I have 2 radio stations belonging to NDC and 1 TV station. It is the party's relationship with the prominent, respectable radio stations. Let me put it that way.
That's a problem.
That is a problem. And the way and manner they liaise with certain personalities in those radio stations. Look, if there are some radio stations, I don't want to mention names, if the way the host moderates the program, it gives you some sort of respect to listen to it. But if you just tune into a radio station or a TV station and you start attacking your opponents in a way, even party people, you don't even talk about the party, you're talking about...
You are saying that if a media house is idealistic or perhaps it has an ideology or a house style that tends to tilt towards one political party, it will not get the audience. Is that what you're saying?
You will get it, but you lose the respect
maybe the manner
of other people.
Control, how you moderate.
You mean the neutrals?
Yes.
I get your point.
So you have to look at the way and manner you treat some stations. You know, for MPP, not that all the radio stations or the TV stations are always with the MPP.
Majority.
It's because
majority.
Many of our people started with some of these radio stations and TV, so they built up that relationship. Look, when we started Peace FM, for instance, you talk about the likes of Damboche or Hininto, this seasoned MPP politicians taking part. The NDC also were sending the likes of Amma Benuado and all those. Quickly, they were taken out and they brought other people who will go there and then be castigating against other people. Those are the problem. That's their problem.
The attrition rate.
Then you talk about the youth. Yes, in this present parliament, I can tell you, yes, we are about 169. Those below 40 are almost about 60 plus. The NDC from 92 to 2000, the younger ones that were part of the NDC, like the Arunas that you were mentioning, you realize that their demeanor, their respect to society is different from the ones that they have from President Mills' administration. I mean, look, when I was traveling, I met Aruna at the airport, but he was also late. They were just checking my things. I give him that respect for them to check his own. I respect him. Despite everything, I respect him.
Despite you being MPP.
I'm telling you, I respect.
Just because of his relations. But you are saying that if it was somebody else, you would have.
I would not.
Okay. Thank you very much. But let's move on to a subject of
Even
ROPA.
though I know some of them are deputy ministers, I will not.
Let's move on. Let's move on the subject of ROPA. On the front page of the Finder, it says President Kufuor urges Ghanaians to intensify ROPA advocacy, and we know it's the Representation of People's Amendment
Act.
Okay. At the end of the day, ROPA, the rationale is supposed to make Ghanaians living abroad vote. Is that not it? Yes. How can we actualize this? And we know that this is following on the bill on the back of a court opinion, so to speak, or ruling on the EC to provide modalities by which they hope to implement.
Yes. It shouldn't be a problem because every electoral cycle, the EC submits budget for purposes of carrying out its constitutional mandate. And so if any EC commissioner decides not to, in coming up with program of activities for purposes of general elections, for purposes of electing assemblymen in this country, electing MPs, and or the President of the Republic, the law has been passed for about 3 to 4 years now, or more.
It was passed in 2005, 2006.
The ROPA?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's an old law, indeed. It's an old law. So the implementation shouldn't be a problem. So if you don't implement it, we are rather breaching the law.
Okay.
You know, because if the law says that it should give the people who live outside the jurisdiction to be able to participate in our elections, then is it on economic grounds why they are denying that right? If it is so, we have had about 4 general elections since. I mean, 4 general elections, 3 for the elections of, 2, 4, yes, because if it's 2000,
it was passed in 2006.
2006. So we have had 2008, 2012, 2016, and within that same interim period, we have had general elections for our assemblymen. You know, the elections are not only for MPs and presidents, but local assemblymen. So the EC must make the effort. They could do so and cite economic reasons and do so on pilot basis. Okay, so in that case, you start from West Africa, where as the NDC we consolidate our support base. So they should start from West Africa and let's say.
Well, the accusation was that it could have been implemented the last election, but
yes,
the NDC perhaps feared. Even though the mandate was with the Electoral Commission.
I disagree with you.
That if it's implemented, because the MPP
Roland,
commands...
if these were things you heard on the streets of Accra...
Yes, I heard them on the streets of Accra.
Yes, of course. So that could only be the source. It's baseless. It's baseless. The budget was submitted for Parliament to approve for the EC to do its work. If EC had factored in, even on pilot basis, that for the 2016 elections, I'll ask Ghanaians, ordinary residents on the continent outside of Ghana to participate. Parliament would have approved of it, you know. And we were all in Parliament. I mean, the Parliament the approval was by consensus. EC's budget, you don't toy with it. So, would have done that. So we expect that this time, if they submit a budget, we'll approve of it and let ROPA be implemented. Even on pilot basis, we're all for it. I agree.
Why is ROPA an important law for which we need to presently implement this? Even in Ghana, locally, when we're administering elections and we know that the Electoral Commission is responsible, sometimes it's Herculean for the body.
Roland,
may I make a small take before he comes in? You see, we have about 20 years of electoral experience. Why is it that 1 week, 24 or more, why is it that 1 week before the organization of elections, we can't send electoral materials to the hinterlands and protect them with military protection, if without police protection, so that on the day of election, before electoral materials are used to cross rivers and streams, power generation are interrupted? No. No.
That's a serious concern. I don't know why this constituency is widely affected.
It just because as Roxanne said, in fact, it reminds me of just an election when we went to the ECs. We went to the press around the
collation center.
No. When we were going to pick the ballot papers.
Oh, okay.
We were asked that we should go to the press to pick the ballot papers from there. And the way both NDC and MPP are so
suspicious,
I tell you. But and we have a police motorcade following us. Then the ballot papers are in a ballot in the pickup.
Bullion van.
Then we have it's in a pickup. My constituency, my stand secretary, and my two guys were sitting on the on the bus. The NDC constituency secretary on organizer was also sitting on it.
The bus.
When we go to the coalition center, where they are going to keep it, every morning when you get there, they rotate. In fact, we always rotate. People sleep there.
You mean the two parties?
I'm telling you, to protect the ballot papers.
Even though they are sealed, everybody has sealed numbers and all.
Well, the two of you know what you can do.
I tell you. In fact, when we go to the police station, before they even put the bags in the where they are going to keep it, I have to go inside to inspect if there is no O or anywhere that they can. And then
somebody can come here at
night. For NDC, I don't trust them. They can come and do it.
You also don't trust them.
Okay, but they're just on the side.
Yes. You see, when we talk about building this nation, those in the diaspora contribute a lot to the development of this country.
Even in terms of remittances.
Yes. They contribute a lot to the development of this country. And so therefore, so far as they are Ghanaians, they are also entitled to cast their... In fact, before our election, one of these African countries where there's a tribe in my constituency, is it the Niger or something?
Nigerians.
They did their election before ours. They went to the Niger embassy. That's where they went to cast their votes.
You mean the citizens?
Yes.
The ordinary citizens?
Those residing in this country. That's where they... Yes.
Niger?
I'm telling you. They went there to cast their votes.
I know of that.
I see.
So, it is not that they have to come to Ghana and come and vote. In fact, in this country, when you go to other states, we have missions. And so elections can be held at those places. And just as Roxanne said...
Now, it's only the staff who votes.
No, but in this case, for the Nigerians, it is
the
citizens.
Yes. Because
even Togo does
even the ROPA.
Ivory Coast also does.
Yes, even the ROPA. It is not because you're a Ghanaian, you just go to the center that I'm going to vote. No. You should have a voter's ID card. Your name should be in the I was asking myself, you see, during the Supreme Court case, as for
the
electoral petition, he brought a list of people in diaspora.
The 700.
Yes. Did they vote there or they came here to vote?
They voted there.
So if they voted there, what stopped others from also voting? And those who voted there, they voted because they have a voter's ID card. So we have to find a way, because when you go to the missions in the various states, they have records of Ghanaians. Because if you want to renew your passport, you send it there.
Ghanaians.
Yes, legal Ghanaians. So when you go there, you have their records there, and they can tell that.
But you don't think that a lot of Ghanaians are living abroad illegally? And so even though they may...
No, there are others who are living there illegally who might not
go and vote.
Thinking that when you go, maybe...
Yes, and even there are others living legally, but sometimes for the distance.
Especially in the U.S.
Yeah.
Those who are not friendly to Donald Trump, if it comes to next 2010, they will not go out. But you know, in the U.S. system, theirs is different. They will come and give you the ballot paper in your house.
In Africa, it can happen.
Yes.
No, it's even electronic. It's even electronic.
Because when I traveled last week, they were voting for
a congressman.
Yes.
Or local. Yes. What we call assemblyman.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And then when we went out, when we came back with my mother-in-law, he said, she has to vote. I said, no, they have put the ballot paper under the
her door.
Her door. So she picked
Like
it.
the way they drop
have
newspaper.
They have to vote. So
Or even letters.
yes. So she picked it. Just vote for whoever she wanted.
Ghana, I can't
Then
have
she went downstairs and just dropped it.
Why can't it
Ghana
happen?
printers in Newtown will print more. Unless you say I'm lying.
I'm a Lagos town boy. Stop indicting us.
No, it's a fact.
Stop indicting Lagos town.
So
Printers in Newtown
for me,
will have duplicates ready.
for me, I believe that
it has consequence for their commercial concern.
No, we're talking elections. We're not talking normal commercial.
I know.
for me, I believe that if we really want to implement ROPA, then it should be now. The process should start now.
Okay. Can we do in the next election?
Why not? Budgetary allocation should.
So you, as a party, you have no qualms about
We have no qualms.
it. You think that
We'll beat them to it.
Your vote margin.
They assume that when they say ROPA, when they say Ghanaians ordinary
In the US,
residents, they think of US. They should think of continental Africa.
Oh, what do you mean?
We'll beat them in Nigeria, we'll beat them in Togo, we'll beat them in Benin, we'll beat them in Ivory Coast.
So it's indirectly.
We'll beat them in Burkina.
Even Liberia.
Yes, even in Guinea. So you see,
Where there's a
even
coast.
South Africa,
Where there's a
Botswana,
coast.
Kenya, we'll beat them.
It's only mention African countries.
Yes,
Because that's where NDC normally goes.
Yes, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
But
matter.
you put abroad.
Oh yes,
I'm
telling you.
It's okay. Stay in US. Who will stay in continental Africa? I will beat you here.
Okay, let's look at this. At least 1,500 persons have been displaced by tidal waves in the Volta region. We have especially in Blekusu, Adina, Jita, etc. But it's not only along the coast. We have even some parts of Greater Accra. Yeah. And then we also have Elmina, Cape Coast, we have Axim, and some of those places. Every year we keep talking about this. In the US, I cited an example. Yes. You go to the state of California, and one of the most expensive properties you can get.
It's in California.
Along the coast.
Yes.
For us, when you
San Diego, Santa Barbara.
For us, when you buy a property along the coast, you're in trouble. Why?
They still eat the sun away.
Why? Why should we not have defenses, sea defenses?
You see, Roland, it boils down to our economic abilities, and two, we haven't really taken the problem of the tidal waves, where the sea eats the land in terms of high water and in terms of heavy storms, as a developmental project or as a developmental concern. We always react after ipso facto the event. But if we consider the entire shoreline and consider the geological changes taking place, then we'll consider it as a developmental issue and tackle the problem along the entire shoreline. Now, communities will have to cry for us to go and give them NADMO. I'm sure this morning or tomorrow, NADMO will be rushing to give them blanket, to give them all those things, and that will be the end of it. Now, I know there was a sea defense boat between Aflao to Blekusu, to Adina, to Keta, Voja, Way, Angloga to Jita. But it didn't cover the entire coastline. If you know that coastline, they were tackling the problems anytime the tidal wave hit. Then they know the problem spot, then they go and tackle it. But you see, if you study oceanography, the sea has a way of moving. The sea moves as it is, it moves. So if today it hits here and you think that you're going to solve the problem, it will shift to Adan. If it hits Adan and you've created sea defense, when the waves are coming, they'll divert and hit Pram. So the whole entire coastline will have to be reinforced properly so that we are not surprised every time there's a change in weather. That will be my take.
My time is up. I give you just a minute or two.
Well, this country,
a minute or two, sir.
We have a major problem when it comes to planning. We only tackle an issue if there's a disaster. Honestly.
Or after the disaster.
Look, this Adansi project started during Rawlings' administration. President Kufuor came, President Atamos came, President John Mahama came, now President Nana Akufo-Addo. Almost about 12 years. What has we done about it? Just pass to the beach road in Tema and see what is happening now. Very soon, it will be difficult for me and you to use the beach road to Tema. We'll wait till we have problems before we rescue some of these things. And we'll rather use the money to do things that are not so much of important to us.
I don't get you. Everything we do is important.
They only use boulders to protect the sun. No. But the tidal is when they eat the sun away
it is
from
not
the boulder.
Everything that is of importance to us. You see, like branding of bus is not important. Look, 1,500.
We have
do you know? What? And look, okay, fine. Let me put that one aside.
This is already impoverished community. No,
somebody goes.
Look at the community.
Recently, Auditor General Report 2007-2008, DVLE, 9 million. 3.9 to 9.9.
But that's not a politician. That's all I want.
I'm saying that we use money. We use money to certain things that will not benefit us.
Not prioritizing.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so my guest this morning, Roxanne Dafiamapo, is a Member of Parliament for South Dine. He's also a legal practitioner. Thanks for joining me.
My pleasure.
All right, and also Ebenezer Gilbert Nina Nate. He's a Member of Parliament for Ablikuma Central. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
All right. So he took over from Theophilus as a child of the NDC, but he's with the MPP though. Thanks for joining me again.
Thank you.
Strong man.
We'll take it back.
I moderated an NCC event in his constituency. He didn't appear.
My friend too.
I'm just self-indicting him. But, we have to move on. But we'll show you this short clip of the former President John Mahama trying to reminisce his campaign days. Well, it didn't go up. The same both stars. The thing went down. So I don't know. Don't know how to interpret this one. Yes. Yes, one word.
I wish to congratulate my 960 BEC candidates. Congratulations. They've successfully finished their exams. We look forward to good grades so that they can take part in the free education September in South Nigeria.
What did you give them to aid their examinations?
I organized holiday classes for them to prep them up for the exams. I gave them mathematical sets. And all 960, both private and public.
That's a vote for your primaries.
Indeed.
And then 2020.
Indeed.
What did you also do?
I gave 2,500 pieces of math set to all the public and private
That's
schools.
why you're in Cosmopolitan Accra.
Yeah. And I have
all the public and private schools in my constituency.
A primaries for you?
Yes. I gave 5,000 cedis each.
Master, you do all. Jiwu too.
2020. He's in government. He's in government.
But talking about the BEC, when we came back, we're taking a break though. When we came back, 2017 BEC ended last Friday, of course, and we know the assistants, 5,000, 2,000, close to 1,000 or so, handing over assets by Roxanne Dafiamapo. And 400 apparently and 88,053 students. This are for the papers countrywide. So the questions we need to ask for these young girls and boys, how high are their hopes of pursuing academic success? What are the chances? How can they access the next level? And what can they do during the period as they spend time at home trying to wait for their results? So we'll be speaking to Papa Eliechi Moke, who just completed God's Grace International School, and Christabel Stickins, also from the St. Joseph Roman Catholic School. Young people who sat the exams will be having great interaction with them. But also today, the world continues its fight against child labor. And the theme globally is in conflicts and disasters, protect children from child labor. But here in Ghana, the theme is mobilizing resources for the effective implementation of the National Plan of Action. So please make sure you stay glued to your sets. We'll be right back.